Welcome to the Explainer. Look, if you are completely exhausted by all those overly complicated online schemes that promise you the moon but deliver, well, literally nothing, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're doing something totally different. We're looking at something refreshingly real. We're going to break down 7 totally boring, regular, physical machines that everyday people are buying right now to start generating serious, actual cash by next week.
Okay, let's dive into this because there's a huge contrast here. On one hand, you've got these frustrating digital side hustles, right? The ones where you're grinding for months and seeing absolutely zero return. But on the other side, we have profitable physical machines. Now, sure, these aren't the sexiest businesses out there, but they are simple, cash-generating workhorses. You buy the equipment, you provide a super clear service, and boom, you get paid. It's direct, it actually works, and as you'll see, it can be incredibly lucrative. Let's look at our first amazing example.
Listen to this. My wife always claims that I'm one of the worst laundry folders in the world. That's an actual quote from a dad who got so incredibly frustrated with doing household chores that he literally went out and built a robot to fold his laundry perfectly every single time. Now, I know it sounds like a crazy science fair project, but here's where it turns into a legit business. By pairing just a standard household washer and dryer with a folding machine like this, people are jumping onto laundry delivery apps. Think Poplin, which is essentially the Uber for laundry, and they're washing and folding clothes for people in their neighborhood. Get this, the top pros on there are pulling in up to $6,000 a month just for doing laundry.
And you know what? It goes way beyond $6,000. There's this one woman who started out doing this exact same thing on Poplin part-time, just washing clothes and dropping them back off at people's houses. Well, it took off. She built up this fantastic baseline of cash and then completely leveled up. She used those earnings to open an actual brick-and-mortar profitable laundromat. And today, that business is generating a massive $24,000 every single month. That is the sheer power of starting basic with a physical machine and scaling it up.
Okay, moving away from laundry, let's talk about desktop manufacturing. I'm talking about 3D printers. Now, you might think these are just toys for tech geeks or engineers, but check this out. A 10-year-old kid named Jacob literally bought a basic $300 3D printer setup and just put it right in his bedroom. He's running this little hustle before school even starts, printing these simple plastic toys and selling them for like $20 to $45 a pop. He's not even in middle school yet, and he's already generated $1,700 in revenue from a handful of plastic pieces. It just shows you how insanely accessible this hardware is now.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the absolute mind-blowing scale you can hit with that exact same technology. There is a 17-year-old high schooler who learned the basics of 3D printing in class and just decided, hey, I'm going to build a niche online store. And what exactly is he selling? Ridiculous, customized little attachments for Crocs shoes. People go absolutely crazy personalizing their Crocs, and this teenager is raking in $20,000 every single month doing it. He's actually on track to hit $300,000 in sales this year, all from printing little plastic shoe charms in his bedroom. Insane, right? But hey, if printing plastic toys isn't really your vibe, our next machine taps into premium customization, the laser engraver. The whole business model here relies on one simple fact. People love putting their names on stuff. Custom jewelry, personalized keychains, custom cups, you name it. There's a DIY crafting business called MakerFlow, and they use their laser engravers to offer these highly specific customized tumblers. They hyped it up online, got their audience super engaged, and geared up for a massive product drop on their website.
And the result? Absolutely jaw-dropping. MakerFlow dropped 30,000 of those custom engraved tumblers, and they completely sold out in under 10 minutes. Guys, that's $210,000 instantly. They made over $200,000 in the time it probably takes you to drink your morning coffee. That right there is the kind of explosive demand a relatively simple laser engraving machine can unlock when you pair it with the right trendy product.
All right, so far, the machines we've talked about require some active work. You got to run them. But what if we pivot to the ultimate low-maintenance, set-it-and-forget-it passive cash flow? Enter the classic vending machine. Look at a place like Japan, right? They have this unbelievable vending machine culture where you can buy practically anything, literally an entire pharmacy's worth of stuff straight from a machine. Now, the US market is nowhere near that level yet, and what does that mean for us? It means there is just a massive, completely untapped ocean of potential for regular people to step in, set up shop, and bring some creative vending solutions to their local cities. To put that into perspective, there's one entrepreneur out in California pulling in $30,000 a month, operating 57 vending machines. But here's the really brilliant part, his actual strategy. He always places one snack machine and one drink machine right next to each other, side by side. Why? Because when he drives out there to restock and service them, he literally cuts his servicing time in half. He's collecting 2 sources of income from a single trip. Talk about maximizing efficiency and profit margins, right? Let's move to and see how this builds. Because if you like the passive nature of selling snacks, you are absolutely going to love this 5th machine, ATMs. This is a significantly higher earning passive machine. It's the exact same basic concept. You're placing a metal box in a busy, high-traffic area, but instead of dropping candy bars or potato chips, it dispenses cash. And the best part? You collect a sweet little processing fee every single time someone swipes their card. And the numbers here can get astronomical. Take the story of Paul Alex. He was an ex-police officer who just wanted a side hustle, so he bought a few basic ATM machines for about $2,100 a pop. Over the course of just 3 years, he took that initial, tangible investment and scaled it into a $12 million business empire. It's a perfect example. It brilliantly shows how a relatively small $2,000 physical asset can just snowball into truly life-changing wealth if you place it strategically. Sometimes, though, the real brilliance is just in pure simplicity, like ice vending. Yep, just ice. An entrepreneur named Steve Slagle bought a couple of ice vending machines, and his secret sauce? Location, location, location. He placed them right by popular fishing spots where people are basically desperate to fill up their coolers before they head out on the water. And since these machines just hook right up to the local water line and a power outlet, they require next to no upkeep. He brings in $33,000 a year for, get this, about 2 hours of work per week. That is literally the definition of passive income. Okay, for our 7th example, we aren't looking at just one machine. It's a whole category, the highly profitable clothing niche. Let me just rapid-fire some of these crazy stats at you. A 27-year-old bought a cheap $100 sewing machine and is now making 6 figures selling silk scarves printed with overhead views of architectural landmarks. So creative. Then there's a girl who bought a $300 embroidery machine and built a $1 million Etsy shop by the time she was 21. You've also got tufting machines driving 6-figure custom rug businesses, and even specialized sock machines. Yeah, sock machines, where entrepreneurs are pulling in $150,000 a year manufacturing weird custom socks. It just goes to show, cheap equipment plus niche creativity equals massive profits.
Oh, and real quick, here's a fun bonus machine before we uncover the real secret behind all of this, the balloon stuffer. You essentially buy a machine that stuffs gifts, maybe a teddy bear or party decorations, inside these massive balloons for birthdays, baby showers, weddings, that sort of thing. People are making an annual revenue of $100,000 to $150,000 just providing this incredibly simple, highly tangible party service. It's fun, it's physical, and hey, it pays really well.
But wait a second, pause right here. As incredible as all these physical machines are, from the ATMs dispensing cash to the 3D printers making shoe charms, the highest earners we've actually talked about today, they aren't just operating the machines in the background. The ultimate secret to life-changing wealth here isn't the machine itself. There is a whole other layer going on behind the scenes, a completely different strategy that takes a comfortable, nice little side hustle and transforms it into a multi-million-dollar empire. So the crucial point is this million-dollar meta strategy. Step 1, you learn a niche hustle or buy a machine. Step 2, you generate a solid baseline profit to prove that yes, it actually works. And then step 3, this is the real Trojan horse lesson here. You teach others via content and coaching. That's the secret. The actual multi-million-dollar business is personal branding. Once you figure out how to make a few $1,000s, you document it, you share the journey on social media, and you teach other people exactly how to replicate your success. And this brilliantly illustrates the power of this strategy, which basically comes down to a massive 10x multiplier. You can literally make 5 to 10 times more money teaching your physical side hustle on social media than you do from the actual hustle itself. The source material highlights this one creator who is making a really solid, respectable $30,000 a month with his core business. But the second he started teaching it to others online, he scaled to over $500,000 a month, $500,000. The lesson? You don't hoard the information, you monetize the education. All right, it's time to stop chasing those fleeting digital side hustles that just leave you exhausted and totally empty-handed. In this explainer, we've walked through real, wonderfully boring physical machines that are generating actual cash right now, today, plus the meta strategy to scale them to the absolute moon tomorrow. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. Which physical machine are you going to master first? And more importantly, which one will you teach the world about?